So this is day 3 of our trip. So day 3 was pretty interesting. It started off, again, we had breakfast at the hotel. I think this time I did take a picture of it or a video of it. Again, the food was fantastic. I love just having the bread and the butter and the Greek yogurt. Greek yogurt is one of my favorite things to eat here in the US. And over there, it's 100% my favorite. Every morning I think I had Greek yogurt while I was there. But we had breakfast at the hotel. Now this is where things got a little bit iffy with the driving the car, and hence my warning about all of this on day 2 when you pick up a rental car and using your phone or your GPS to map out your drive. So our plan that morning was to have breakfast at the hotel and then drive to the Demeter Temple, which is a little bit, I want to say south, I think it's like southeast of where we were staying. Visit the temple, go to the museum there, and just explore around. However, we still managed to do that, but not without some complications. Oh, it's the tire pressure thing.
Again?
That was a cat. So what happened was, while we were driving, the GPS started taking us on some roads that didn't quite look like roads. Now, I don't have much footage or videos or anything of this to share with you, except for one picture that was supposed to be a video, but it ended up just being a picture by mistake, because at this point we were going through a very narrow section of what I could only describe had to just be a walkway in a small little town. That's the way Apple Maps was taking us, and that's the way we went. And that's my warning for you guys, is if you decide to drive and use your GPS, if you're going down a road that doesn't look like a road, it's probably not a road. Up until that point, we were going along what seemed to be kind of like a cobblestone or like dirt road, so it didn't look to be too bad. It's like it could have been a road. Then all of a sudden, before you know it, you're entrenched in this little town, and this little town like walkway path, and you're just like, how the heck did I get here? The difference between like the normal roads and like the gravelly roads.
Yeah.
The lizard. Now, it wasn't just me, because you could see on the steps of this town, there were like marks where people hit their cars on the steps as they were driving by. Sure enough, I managed to do that too, put a little scratch in the back quarter panel of our car. So that really upset us. We were sitting there thinking they're going to basically ding us for all these financial charges because we damaged the car and all this type of stuff. I think the minimum was like a 400 euro fee for damaging the car. So we were like frantic about that the whole entire time. So that, right after our nice breakfast, kind of put a huge damper on the mood right off the bat. That being said, we did manage to get through that, kind of tried our best to put that behind us. We ended up going through that town, got through it, thankfully with only the one little incident that we had, and then got to the temple. Now, when we got to the temple, you could see there were some buses there. They were actually letting some tourists off and things like that. And we got to explore this Temple of Demeter. This really kind of like heightened our mood up quite a bit. Demeter is the goddess of agriculture, harvest, and fertility, and it's here where they decide to build her temple. Built around 520 BC out of Naxos' own marble, this temple is nearly 100 years older than the Parthenon in the Acropolis, which used the same Doric architectural style. There are plenty of signs giving more details about what they uncovered here. I particularly like this one, as it shows how the temple ruins used to look like. And it was just a great experience. The temple, I think they charged about 10 euro, if I'm not mistaken, to get in and explore the grounds, as well as entrance into the museum that they had there, where they give a little layout of the history of how the temple used to look and how they built it, the materials, and just the history of the area as a whole. And that was a really good experience. It was still pretty hot out again, so we didn't spend too much time outside, but we did walk around toward the area and then went into the museum, which was thankfully air conditioned. So once we got done exploring the museum, we decided to go back to the main town of Cora and walk around the downtown area. This was the main downtown. We walked into some of the shops. We ended up buying some of the candy that was there. There's this place called King of Candy, which is really, really good place, especially if you like candy. I have some of the candies still upstairs. I haven't eaten them all yet, but basically you can see how they start off with these big, like, funnels of candy, and then they just roll it till it becomes like super small. We walked around into some more of the shops, including this one with all the leather. From there, we wanted to try to find the castle, which wasn't an easy feat. Hey, photography. Oh, jeez. One of the things that we wanted to see on the trip too was the old town area, which we did get to walk around and see, but another part of it was the castle. Now, the Naxos castle is a bit hard to find because it's so integrated into the town. It almost doesn't, it's not like a typical castle that you would see, you know, above the town or anything like that, where it's like on its own little plateau where it just has all these walls and everything like that. It's so integrated and mixed into the town because of all the centuries of I guess, building around it. So it's not really like a standalone thing that you could walk into and even know you're in the castle. You just really have to be careful and take a look at the signs. Eventually, we found an elevator, as a matter of fact, that led us to the top of the castle. That's how we knew we were in the castle, because the elevator was there and just basically told you you were in the castle. And we knew at the top of the castle there was this restaurant called Avaton. We decided to have lunch at the Avaton restaurant, and again, this had a great view of the city this time, so you could actually overlook the view and see all of kind of like the main area of the core town, which was really, really fascinating to see. Again, food was fantastic. I had some sort of lentil dish. I forget exactly what Andrea got, but I know I have pictures of that. And after we ate, we began to explore the interior of the castle. The first part we came across was the Ursulian School, which was housed inside the castle. It was originally a monastery for Jesuit monks, who then started the school in 1628, that eventually became the first private school in Greece. Its claim to fame, though, was the contemporary girls' school that was started here. Part of the old castle again. Whoa, is that part of when this was a monastery? Yeah. Did you see Mother Mary, I guess, up there? Wow. It operated a school under various religious orders until 1891, which it then converted to a school for commerce, also known as the Merchant Academy. One of the famous Greek philosophers/authors studied here at the time, Nikos Kazantzakis. But it eventually closed in 1927 after nearly 300 years of operation. From here, we walked along the promenade, teeming with more shops and places to eat. I grabbed some ice cream before we went into the old market to find even more shops. You can really smell the water and the fish. No shortage of finding unique items here. We did pick up some souvenirs for our family back home. After winding our way back through the old market to the promenade, we walked over to the Apollo Temple. I think we should hop on those steps and just chill down there. Apollo is mostly known as the sun god, but he has a much longer list of responsibilities other than our solar companion, including music, archery, dance, healing, poetry, and more. The temple started construction around the same time as the Temple of Demeter, but it was never completed. Later, a Christian church was actually built in this spot. I can see why people would like it. On the way back to the car, we stopped and got a snack at the Rendezvous Cafe. We got back to the hotel and Andrea relaxed there. I, on the other hand, was itching to get some photos at night, so I went back downtown and snagged these pics. Part of the fun was trying to capture the sun as it's crossing in the middle of the temple doors. I think I got it pretty close. And that was pretty much the end of day 3. It was a fairly significant day though. I mean, exploring the Temple of Demeter was great, and then also getting into the main town and exploring that area, stopping, getting some gelato as well. It was just a good time all around for our day 3. Alright, so now we're on to day 4. Day 4, again, we ate breakfast at the hotel. But this time what we decided to do was we actually just wanted to go down to the beach. We did not want to get stung by him. On the way down to the beach, I saw this massive bee wasp thing, mutant wasp, I don't know. It was big, it was in the bushes. I know it didn't bite me, that's all I was happy about. It was about a 15 or 20 minute walk down to the beach. There wasn't a direct path down for walking though, so we had to zigzag down with the roads. There's even parking here, but yeah, there's like nobody here. And this is supposed to be one of like the best ranked beaches in Europe. Yeah. Now the beach is called Agios Prokopios Beach, and this is one of the best beaches in Europe. It's actually what they call a blue flag beach. I don't know how they actually rate these. I guess it's a public opinion sort of thing, and maybe with how well it looks and maybe how they maintain the beach and things like that. There's some sort of criteria for that. But this has won the award quite a bit, and it's actually one of the best beaches in Europe to visit, and I would highly recommend it. It was a great beach. The water was crystal clear, the view was fantastic. We didn't go in the water because it was a little chilly. I mean, we got into like our feet and things like that, but we didn't actually dive in or anything. But it was a really, really good experience. We decided to walk along the beach, basically along the sand to get to the other end. Now be aware, I know here in the US this isn't really the most popular thing, but there is a little section of that beach that is a nude beach, so you just have to be aware of that. So if you are filming or taking pictures, just be aware there might be naked people in the background. Luckily, I did view all my footage and my photos, and luckily, I guess I just happened to miss all of that. But I do remember seeing them as I was walking by. So on the other end of the beach, after we walked along the beach, there's a nice little like downtown area where there's some shops, more like surf and turf, more like surf shop type of things, but just Greece style surf shops, which is pretty interesting and pretty fun to see. At this point though, we were trying to actually look for itch cream because as we were relaxing on the beach, I happened to notice that I started getting bug bites. I'll show more of this later on, but this is where I just first happened to notice the bug bites that I had gotten. I assume I had gotten it the night before. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly where I got these bug bites from. But I definitely had a couple. I had one on my wrist. I had one on my arm. I had one on my, well, you can't see it because it's down there, but it's like on my inner leg. Right around here. I don't know if you can see that. Kind of almost where my tick bite is. But I had one there. I also had one on my foot. That's right. I forgot about that one. That was a big one. And in the beginning, it wasn't that bad. I just thought they were normal mosquito bites. Not that big of a deal. But as you'll see later on, especially when we get into day 5, it gets a little bit worse than that. That being said, we started going into the shops because we were really looking for an itch cream. None of the stores had any sort of itch cream or bug bite cream or anything like that when we were there, at least none that we could find. But we did go into a couple shops, and then while we were there, we decided we were getting a little bit hungry. It was getting to be around lunchtime, so we added a restaurant on that town called Symposium. Now this was a really good restaurant. This is actually one of our favorite restaurants in the area. We sat there. It's right along the beach, so you get a nice view of the water and the beach. I think this restaurant is actually part of the hotel in that area as well. And from there, we basically just walked back to the hotel. We walked back along the beach. We were getting a little bit warm at that point. It was getting to be, since it was after lunch, it was kind of midday afternoon type of thing, so you had the sun beating down on you. We just wanted to go back to the hotel, change out the wet clothes that we had just from sweat and just briefly walking into the water and let them dry off. After getting back to the hotel, we relaxed again by the pool, talking to the bartender, and just chilling by the pool. Once we got all ready to go, we went back downtown again. Our first stop this time was Naxos Bakery. We picked up some pastries before finding a spot for dinner. We ended up getting dinner at a place called Souvlaki of Makis. Souvlaki of Makis? 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 I don't know how you say that. But we decided to get dinner there while we were downtown. That ended up being some gyros that we got, gyros and french fries. And that was again, another really good meal that we had there. That's it right there. Are you okay with that? Oh. I'm just doing that. I know.
The daughter took your money?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's like a $20 thing. You see the octopus up there?
No. Oh, that's pretty neat. Take a picture of that on the way back. Fresh seafood. Doesn't get any fresher than that. This time, Andrea wanted to see the sunset at the Apollo Temple. So that's the main reason why we went this time. I got to see it the other day because I went down to take pictures of it, but she didn't get that experience, so we wanted to make sure that she saw it this time. You want to just stay here then? Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, we arrived late, and the sun was mostly down, but it was still beautiful. But with Andrew seeing the temple the day before, we didn't really go back up to the hillside. I, however, decided to grab a quick photo of the anchored boats here before making our way back to the car. I know. The shoulder seasons. We decided to go back to the car and then go back to the hotel. But before we did, I wanted to make sure I got like a nice shot of the town. She got in the car, relaxed in the air conditioning for a little bit. I went out to the kind of like this little, I guess, offshoot area and took a nice picture of the town. And then from there, we basically went back to the hotel and spent the night at the hotel. I should mention too, while we were down in the town, we tried to also find some sort of pharmacy that was open for like to try to get some itch cream for my bug bites. But unfortunately that didn't happen. None of the places were open for that. I don't know why. I think they closed a little bit early. Not sure. But so yeah, it was just a really good trip all around, because the next day was going to be a travel day. Day 5 was the day that we were going to go from our little island hub of Naxos at the Kavos Hotel to Athens, the big city. So we wanted to just relax and enjoy the last little bit of our time on the Naxos island.